You're listening to Turtle Island News, live with Tracey Kennedy. What's the date today? Today is Tuesday, the 6th, October the 6th already. You even imagine? What happened to September? Must have been all the drama going on that just completely screwed up my time clock. When I turn up the time clock right now, gone. I had the strangest event yesterday. I wanted to tell you guys about it because it leads up to our topic today. I live in a really beautiful area. Gorgeous. I'm surrounded by a beautiful stream, churches all around me. Gorgeous. Now, as you may know, I'm not a churchgoer, but I enjoy the buildings so much. And sometimes the feelings that they give, that whole thing. Not the religion per se, but the sense of community and people getting together to do something that isn't friggin' traumatic. You know what I mean? Because the trauma is insane. So I went out briefly yesterday. I like to go for my walks. I told you guys that. I saw this person acting a little crazy. It's hard to explain so much. He wasn't like screaming and running up and down. It just, he felt off. You know what I mean? Just, you knew he was wrong. Something was wrong. So I look in the paper today. Well, this guy got in his car, drove to the next town. It's about 15, 20 minutes away from here. Shot someone with an arrow, killed him, beat someone else up, and there's a 15-year-old girl missing. Sometimes I think, there by the grace of God, go I. It could have been me. There's a lot of places around this area too that are secluded, and we have a huge meth problem that's just suddenly appeared in this town. This is really big in small towns, Canada. But drugs in general, these things that are going on, are big on the world in general. Why? Decades of trauma. Decades of trauma that cannot be stopped. The children going through war right now, the ones who live, they're going to be passing that biologically for at least the next 3 generations. We've talked about flights and space flights and some of the work that Kesh is doing and some of the things that a lot of beings are doing right now. First generation will miss Earth if you leave. We'll probably want to come back because we're tied here. The tie is emotional and physical. It's both. We are beings, threefold beings, really. Next generation will have heard of it, might want to come back, but have no deep attachment to it. The next one, this feeling of home will fade if they've never known it, but still perhaps heard about it from their parents and their grandparents. The next generation after that, the fourth, probably no psychological or physical attachment to here. And this is how things are passed on. Now, a couple of things were asked of me in the last couple of days that I need to deal with some things. Oregon shooter, specifically. Now, I've looked into this, and there's a lot, because this is another one of our mind control black assassins. Mixed, of course. They will make, what I've heard, speak of it. They've made a big deal that he's black. This person had autism, Asperger's. He was on a cocktail of drugs. One of them is the bulletproof drug that I've told you about that make you sharp. What this would do to a person with Asperger's who has been groomed, shall we say, from birth for certain things. The backlash of this in general will be magnificent. This is another very connected family. So what I would like to do is we are going to hold this one till Thursday. And this is specifically, I want to say this to Sungazer, because thank you so much for your questions and for the videos you sent me. I did look at them, and yes, there's absolutely a growth of violent crime since Obama got in there. There's a combination of events with this specific event, because we are seeing an escalation of many things. Yes, of course, there's a distraction going on. There is the huge mega ritual from the Pope, the Philadelphia Beta Rebellion. This has already begun. There had been a threat made against Philadelphia universities for October 5th, 2015, so yesterday. This threat was made on a 4-channel, the same site that made the warning about the Oregon shooting. That's why I'm bringing this up. Before he shot. Now this is only beginning, because October 5th, 2015 at 1 p.m. CT, a fellow robot will take up arms against a university near Philadelphia. He cries. His cries will be heard. His victims will cower in fear. The strength of the Union will decay a little more. The first of our kind has struck into the hearts of America. If you are in that area, you are encouraged to stay home and watch the news as the chaos unfolds. They knew. They knew before this happened. So I absolutely will look into this, and it's going to take me all of Thursday's show. So please join me on Thursday, because we are going to deal with this bad boy. There's a lot. There's a lot. Now, this mega ritual, this beta rebellion, which I'm going to go into in detail Thursday, it's been a plot. It's been something that it's been pre-programmed into us for quite some time. And I think the majority of people realize this. You know, every war that is going on right now, every trauma, every tragedy, there is a reason behind this. And know that 100% there could not be this kind of devastation happening on our beautiful planet if we were not screwed up. Most people I know are not really owning this that we have become. Yes, it's easy to point our fingers at the CIA, at the FBI, at any ABC, do re mi, 1, 2, 3, these kind of things. It's very easy. But if we were okay, if we hadn't become so twisted, without any kind of willpower, these things could not happen. It's easy to sit back, and I'm not blaming, because, I've fallen more times than I can't even say how many times I've failed myself. Yes, we've been set up. But once we start realizing that we've been set up, God, I could do 40 hours a show today. Once we start realizing how much we've been set up, the only thing you can do is stand up, dust yourself off, look that beast in the face, whatever that beast is, and I'm sure that each and every one of us has our own beast. And take control. Because 2015 has broken every record. Weather events, storm events, trauma events. With every good thing, there is an equal and opposite bad thing. Every day now. Every single day. That Trans-Pacific Partnership, the deal's been struck. The corporate secrecy wins yet again. And the officials said that the trade ministers from the 12 nations, reached a deal Monday on what's the largest regional trade accord ever made in history, that we know of course. The agreement will include a decrease in trade barriers, and that's why they had to show it on a TV show, for God's sakes. Do you guys watch Madam Secretary? Well, they knew it was coming. Absolutely knew this was coming. Could they have done this to us if we were strong? When did we lose our power? Specifically. When? When did we become such weak, mind-controlled automatons that we will stand and take anything? We will watch children being slaughtered. When Obama did his little fake crocodile tears over those children that were just executed, I realize they're, late teens, early 20s, but to me these are children. He didn't care about the slaughter that's being perpetrated in his name right now, in the name of our American brothers and sisters, and Canada just as culpable. We are bringing and unleashing a reign of terror on this planet that's unprecedented. When we realize the depth of this, how it's being done, I'm going to make a right turn. Everyone hold on to your seats a little bit, because it'll sound like, oh good, Tracey's lost her damn mind. It'll make sense. One of our earliest ancestors, the ancestor of all the plants, were always wired to make the leap to shore. When the agile ancestor, agile, of all modern plants first succeeded in making a transition from aquatic environments to an inhospitable shore around 450 million years ago, it changed the world dramatically. It altered climate. It set the stage for a vast array of all terrestrial life. developmental innovations that plants used to make this leap to land have endured. And they have enduring secrets of nature. Right now, an international team of researchers writing this week in the Proceedings of the National Academy of Science reveals that aquatic algae, from which terrestrial plant life arose, were genetically pre-adapted to form a symbiotic relationship with microorganisms that most land plants need to acquire nutrients. You need to acquire nutrients from the soil. Now, it's quite a large piece, and I do have that available, turtleislandnews.info. Know that even inanimate objects, and I know it'll sound strange, but even inanimate objects have DNA. They do. So, trying to wrap my head around this subject. DNA replicates themselves through genes. All the genes they form, right? If DNA had no genetic structures that help their replication, would this be an inanimate object? If yes, are there examples? If not, that would imply that DNA and genes always come in the exact same package. DNA is a very large double helix composed of a sequence, nucleic acids. Genes are sections of that sequence that code for functional RNA molecules, proteins. DNA replication is a complicated process involving many different enzymes. These two things are important. It's important because of what's coming next. We work in certain ways. There is absolutely no reason that we should be consuming the way we do. We shouldn't need it. We shouldn't be thinking the way we do. We shouldn't have to. There's nothing in us that is preparing us for what's going on this planet right now. And yet it's happening. And we are part of it. We are just part of the exact same things that make up the table I'm sitting on, the chair that my ass is on right now, the screen I'm looking at. There is no difference between me and the things around me. We are made, all of these things, with the exact same basic, a little different of course, structure. We have to go back a little bit. We've gone through history. We've been warned about these events. We were told in the Bible and every religious book that, of course, they replicated to tell us what they were going to do to us, those cross-dressing, rapist mofos. The CIA, the NSA, DARPA, NASA, that Nazi secret, needs to be exposed. Because I'm going to explain the exact internal operation of the black programmable goo. GOO or GU. GU is closer. This occultation and how the occult use it on you and whoever they target. Specifically, target, but everyone is a target now. everyone. The Free Masonic occult have been using that black goo as a biological weapon based on something we need in our cells. It's based on the green goo. It's what you need to survive. It's what the plants need to survive. It's a basic, programmable, part of it synthetic, and also part of it is biological. It is a living organism. It is both now. And there's pictures too, if you want to see it. Cleverly named. Breaking news, the CIA, NSA, DARPA, NASA, Nazi secret exposed. Yeah, big, long title. So the goo, biological weapon. Brain mapping, human possession, mind control, remote mind control, targeting, assassination, ritualistic worship, and murder. I have to bring this up now because we need to talk about this before I can talk about what just freaking happened and how it's going to get worse. Now, the base operation of the programming of this goo is routed through the U.S. government's alien hybrid electrical system called Cobalt, also through CERN, which is also CIA based, who just turned 60. Now, Cobalt is a system that the black goo is run and maintained from. Cobalt was made from stolen technology, apparently from a crashed ship on the moon. I would throw that out as crap immediately, except Pink Floyd made an album about it. Transformers poked fun at the truth about the moon. This technology, which we have found and we know exists, was what we now know or call dark matter. That is the black goo. Cobalt was made to interface with it, program it, for the occult military, the shadow government, or so they were all led to believe. And I have an image of the Cobalt 4 computer to plate system. Now, Facebook, DARPA, NASA, NSA, CIA, DOC, MI6, SAS, etc., 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 all Masonic shadow intel organizations like Project Montauk, Bluebeam, BrainGate, Remote Viewer Gate, that's the original Stargate, and Stargate, Star Wars program, all the militarized space weapons and organizations, all of these organizations, all based on this black goo and the occult vector science. All their supercomputers, including the German Bavarian Beast computer that we've spoken of, thought to be hidden in the German Bavarian mountains, aka Nazi base. We've talked about this. All operate in unison with this programmable goo. And I have an image there of the super German computer systems. They're really big. It's lots. We don't know how big this is. Hard to find out too. Now, these were thought to be the fastest computers in the world, but they're not, and are nowhere close to what's coming. For all these occultists, these pedophiles, using this dark matter to rape people's minds, and the earth, secretly and pretty freaking openly right now. This is NASA's, or the Nazi Satan. Satan, codename for Satellite automatic tracking antennas. Satan. Channel 6. NASA's History Office. Again, satellite automatic tracking antennas. Satan. One type for telemetry reception, a second type for the U.S. government officials becoming officially concerned with how to track an object beyond Earth orbit. Because you would need Satan for that, apparently. So when you log into Facebook, you are also logged in to DARPA, CIA, NSA, and NASA. You are immediately being body mapped, cataloged, like cattle, like a pretty cow. Say moo with me. What this evil system does is send magnetic electric pulses that are piggybacked off your magnetic field into your body at key pressure points. The CIA would normally have to kidnap you. This is why the CIA, NASA, NSA, cults, etc. are huge child and human traffickers. Then they can administer one of these chips into the brain through the nasal cavity or the skin, or through your Advil, your Aleve, any of the liquid jelly capsules, your vitamins, all of them, your fish oils, because apparently they can juice a fish. Have you ever thought about that? What your fish oils are? So they're juicing a fish. Really? Eat some damn fish if you want. Okay, moving on. So they do it now with nanoparticles, chemtrails, remotely programmed television, cell phones, computers, websites, and new ways of chipping people without them knowing it's being done. Remember it's being done. Brain radio, neurocommunication spike electrodes, brain signal processors, radio transmitter and receivers all in one. Pneumatic brain radio injection plantation tubes. This brain radio transmits and receives signals of the electric brain activity, influences consciousness, behavior by cognitive processes produced by a neural telecontroller. It is common that neural telecontrollers aid at copying the endogenic, natural cognitive processes and blend his own goals and choices into the consciousness of the target of the electric behavior modification. So this is electric mind control. In a manner most easily accepted and learned by the target, they start changing you in bits. You won't notice. It's not a special group anymore. Any of us could be triggered at this point, unless you are doing personal work for yourself right now. Fighting your addictions. Any of them, all of them. Because if you haven't gotten your willpower back, or at least are trying to get your willpower back, you have no chance against these things. Because these are the true effects of the chemtrails on the body. The unclassified NASA documents to prove how they made the chemtrails. Many articles on my site, especially over the last couple of weeks, of how the government knew what using nuclear reactors would do, knew what lining them with aluminum would do to our skies and our planets and our water, and tested this on many people, especially the soldiers. They knew this was coming. They knew what it would do. You don't even have to spray anything. They're spraying neurotoxins and virus and these nanotubes. Chemtrails are taught in U.S. military class. They are called chemtrails. This science is also used in the U.S. in all of the militarized missile shields. Was approved to poison our air, and in the name of keeping you safe from attack that never happened. If someone fires a missile at America or any place, and the chemtrail poisons are in the air, a radio compressed microwave is beamed around the missile, and the missile is melted from the inside from compressed microwave heating of the chemtrail particles. But who is to say that they do not already do this to normal people, much slower rates, controlled rates with the chemtrails, with the radioactive small meters, and, well, the smart meters. But there's something called a small meter. We'll get to that later. That are a huge part of this evil system. This technology is also used with the black goo, the crystallization, the nanotechnology, because this is black programmable matter that we had spoke of many times. This nanoparticle, these infections, this soft kill, this mind control technology. And when I've told you about the parasites that are now being found, we have to look at these things and take them pretty seriously now, because there is a huge difference biologically with us now because of this. And the animals being found off the coast, off our west coast in Canada and United States, and starting to show up, as a matter of fact, in Europe too, in the oceans, in the seas, in the rivers. The damage being done to our bodies is what was tested on the soldiers first, when they were using the depleted uranium. Sorry, am trying not to cough? I have my tea right here. What they found was, first of all, yes, of course, they're coming back traumatized because nobody is okay with killing each other. They have worked really long and hard to make us okay with this. But on a basic level, we're not okay. There's that. That's one. The other thing is, you use a weapon, it affects you biologically. Probably just by touching something or being close to something that is poison, probably already energetically changes you. But we know that these men, this is the ancient orange stuff that's just gotten progressively worse. Changes you. That's why the men come back and so many of them go nuts. That's why we're seeing the increase in violence and their children, because men and women who fight in these wars, who are exposed to these things, pass that on genetically. And we don't know 100% how things are actually passed on. It could be a touch, could be a breath, and the obvious stuff, sex. You don't have to have a child. And we've talked about this. You carry a DNA of any man you touch. Especially if you're touching his boy bit. I know, Tracey, grow up. You can say what it is. You know what I mean? You get that on your hands or in your mouth or any part of your body. You're carrying that stuff. And you pass that stuff on. Keep in mind, it's too late to stop now, so you got it. Everyone you've slept with, you got it. And this is for boys or for girls. Even if it doesn't matter. You carry that stuff. Now, this is nanoparticle infection. This is mind control. And this nanoparticle becomes internalized in your cells, becomes part of you. The mitochondrion, the nucleus, the cytoplasm, the membrane, the lipid vesicles inside the cells. What it does to your brain: neurological disorders, Parkinson's disease, Alzheimer's disease. Those are the physical manifestations. But realize that if you are presenting those ones, it's not just because of the nanoparticles. It is a psychological thing that you've set up in your own body. If you're cutting off the feeling in your body, know that that is trauma-based. You are harming yourself. So you need to deal with that. It's like cancer. You know, you take out a cancerous piece in someone's body. You take out a cancerous piece. 9 times out of 10, the cancer comes back. Or there are any number of thousands and thousands of different things that can happen. It's because there's a psychological issue that you cannot fix physically. Now, the ingestion of these particles go to a gastrointestinal system, Crohn's disease, colon cancer. This is usually from someone who has seen a trauma, like war. The next, going down into your system, this again, autoimmune diseases, your nerve endings, dermatitis, things like that. Your body's starting to shut down. If you inhale, then again, asthma, bronchitis, emphysema, cancer. Next, your circulatory system, arteriosclerosis, constrictions, thrombosis, high blood pressure, and then your heart, arrhythmia, heart disease, death. Diseases unknown in the kidneys, in the liver. Sarcomas, autoimmune diseases, dermatitis, on your skin. A lot of soldiers, ex-soldiers, have skin problems. Skin is our biggest organ. If you have skin problems, there is a huge issue emotionally that you need to deal with. Yes, of course, they're targeting us, but know that you handle your business, which starts in your own little self. You can fix these things. You fix your skin, the planet starts to fix. Completely? No, you can't. I was telling you before that for a while what I was doing here in town was helping, you know, where I was tracking that there were less violent crimes. I can't hold it any longer. Thinking of what could have happened to me scares the crap out of me. I was actually really scared. I tried to cover it up yesterday, and I was talking, and I was kind of lighthearted, and I was really scared after. You know, that kind of dead feeling first you've just been traumatized, so it's like you're in a daze and you just keep going. Anything could have happened. Is it my power? Am I protected? I don't freaking know. I wouldn't see why anything would stop and worry about my little business. But this same guy just went to the next town and lost his damn mind. Who shoots anyone with an arrow, for God's sakes? Who even does that unless with a combination of meth and Lord knows what else, and watching some TV with that little green guy with the arrow, called surprisingly The Arrow. Did he watch too much TV? Now I have an image that is the cover of the NASA's so-called futuristic technologies document that we've gone over, where they claim it's not in use yet, and that these technologies are futuristic and won't be doable until 2025. I call the number 33 and B and S to that future strategic issues, future warfare, circa 2025. The future is now. This is going on right now. The spoofer spray is the standard for spy plans to use to avoid being detected by radar. It is also used in chemtrailing. It's in the air you're breathing. It has aluminum coating. It has plastic. It has nylon. And the aluminum coating of plastic surfaces and nylon, that is a spoofer spray. It's nanoparticle production during combustion process. So when you have coated pots and pans and heat them, your food has these nanoparticles. If you've used it once, you have it now. Now with the ultrasound nozzles of watery solution as fuel additives as well, they are nothing if they are not thorough. We got it in everything. Nanotags, smart dust, nano dust, particle dust is what is in these chemtrails. Every military knows this, knows all about this, and this evil technology also kills insects, and insects have been here for a very long time. Very, very, very long time. But it turns them into drones now for these nanoparticles, for this black goo. They become spies. They become a delivery system of a virus or the goo infection. This is why the Lyme disease. This is why sometimes they're spraying for the mutant mosquitoes. This is why. They want us to go crazy, but not all at once. So, the sensor swarms, the smart dust, cubic millimeters or less, so they're tiny. Combined sensors, comms, power supply, they float in air currents, nanotags, placed on everything, everywhere. Identification, status info, and co-opted insects. Swarm nanoparticles, this smart dust, this nano weaponry, is used by NASA for many things. But one of the major applications is targeting and keeping track of specific assets, individuals to keep track of. And that's everyone. Now apparently legal. The effects of this low-level microwave. U.S. Army, SRI, Walter Reed. Behavioral performance. Seizures. gross alteration in brain functions. They know this is from their NASA documents. 30 to 100% increase in brain blood flow. It is lethal. The intersections between low power. So around the 0.4 to 3 gigahertz that we've talked about before. It destroys brain function. It can be explosive. And it's legal. This swarm sensor is what they spray chemtrails on specific place or a person that they need immobilized or lit up for nanoparticle infiltration, etc. These nanoparticles all coincide with the nano Borg bots that NASA claims is futuristic in those documents that I've read to you before. They released those documents, and this is how they threaten and flaunt their evil science in the public domain. Bots, Borgs, and humans welcome you to 2025 AD. The sensor swarms, the smart dust, the nanotags, all from their document. The list of scientific publication that I have on my page is core science. And the scientists that create Morgellons, aka nanotags, also known as Morgellon disease by chemtrails, from chemtrailing, from bugs. And the function of Morgellons is to invade and sever the DNA, collect energy from DNA, create light signals for satellites, etc. Morgellons creates crystals in the body that make the RNA, DNA antennas in the body. They become readable light impulses. All of your cells are more crystalline than the little bags of water they've described to us. They're crystalline entities. You get this stuff in, you can be read. It is detectable via satellite, by ground stations from the host infected body. A ground station, so smart meters, these electrical Nazi, NASA, hive mind stations. A hive mind center is in most neighborhoods. It has been installed in the smart meters in your homes for monitoring. Once the subject is infected, this is what they call a reading unit. That is clearly an infection leading to soft kill, remote mind control, unknown sicknesses, unknown illnesses, weird, odd feelings. When they make what is called a readout unit, it starts to catalog your emotion, your anger, and can make a duplicate algorithm and then feed it to a satellite or a ground station. So let's say you get mad and you're cataloged at that time, digitized, the brain and body mapped, digitized, stored. With this anger, a readout unit can be aimed at people who are not angry or happy. This anger can be used to target a group of people. Looks like 100. And it projects this emotion via satellite or ground station antenna aimed at normal people. Amplify it to an entire crowd, a neighborhood. This hexagonal reading unit reads blue is the light process for thinking. Red is the light process for sexuality. Blue in your home, the blue lights that are everywhere, are destroying your DNA, destroying your circadian rhythm. We have too much blue light all around us, everywhere. And it's why I recommended everyone get Flux. F-Lux. It's free. You need to get it. And if that's not enough, start wearing glasses. Rose-colored glasses, believe it or not, will help you. Especially if you have a health issue right now, it means you need to act more. You need to pay attention to this stronger than anyone else. The reason why I mentioned the ancient algae, it has DHA. You can't get it from fish oil. It degrades too quickly. You need to eat fish and this. If you're sick, you need to do it now. Like, hurry up. Seriously, if you want to live. If you don't, if you made that decision, that's not for me to say. But this is how this evil system is made to read you, catalog you, digitize the human experience. They are trying to control your ego, our mind, our sexuality. This is this evil synthetic telepathy, this Nazi Facebook, DARPA, and CIA system that is online, that is now breaking down permanently. You're listening to Turtle Island News. Time for a break.
I want to do this right. There it is. If I searched every dictionary ever written by man, and studied all of the languages people have spoken in their land, I don't think I'd find much peace of mind. Oh, 'cause there ain't no word. I don't think there's any word. I have not found new words to describe. I'm talking about love, feelings.
Welcome back, everyone. You're listening to Turtle Island News with Tracey Kennedy. Can you hear me? Okay, I think it's moved now. Again, all listener supported, and can always use your help. Revolution Radio, #1 listener supported station, where, this is why I can say stuff like this. And mine, of course. And again, we're We're live on Revolution Radio, Studio A, and turtleislandnews.info, where all the things I'm talking about are in bits and pieces all over the page today. The page is a big mess. I had a lot of my mind. Because where do I start? Do I start with the U.S. military's bombing of a hospital? Do I start there? Do I talk about how the world is standing up all over and saying no to Monsanto? And you know what Monsanto's just done? The two biggest, largest biotech companies, so Monsanto and Syngenta, have decided to shed their troublesome name and gain a stranglehold on the world's food supply. They are going to be merging into a new mega conglomerate. Don't know the name yet. Death. Unprecedented death. This is a corporate monster. If allowed to emerge, it will gain complete control of the most vital elements for our survival, all of the global food supply. For the sake of the planet and future generations, we need to stop this. Companies that will make up this monster will have total control of our food. Everything we eat, everything we drink, unless we do it ourselves, and unless you have seeds that are magic, because they would need to be magic. I don't care about friggin' organic. If it's been outside, it's a problem. They see the world completely inundated with their patented, genetically modified seeds saturated in their environmentally destructive chemicals. They seek to put out all their critics and those deemed in the way, in prison, leave them financially ruined. They threaten to subvert democratic process with their bot legislators strategically placed inside every facet of every government everywhere. They will do this while wrapped in the rhetoric of superheroes and sustainability and stewardship and fluffy bears and unicorns and cookies. They are behemoth. Still in its gestation period right now, we are pregnant with this coming death. They have yet to fully consummate this deal. But when it does, finally, this is a whole new identity, whole new can of worms. And they have mafia-style tactics. You can see on my page the transgressions of Syngenta's already. And Syngenta, most people haven't even looked at. They're worried about Monsanto. Monsanto is about to become a beast with this thing, and they play dirty. Hugely dirty. Now, I go into it in detail, the article I put up on the page, so please take a look at it there. We have parasites right now, never seen before, that are washing up on the West Coast, finding unidentifiable creatures that are new to science. And if science say they're concerned. There is such a bizarre die-off that it is now an animal emergency. There are such unusual mortalities. And again, sickened by these new parasites. And this is just the tip of the iceberg. You don't know what you've eaten. Now, they do not mention black programmable DNA. I'm freaking calling it. I'm calling it right now. Right now. And again, the articles are on the page. So you can look at it and say, Tracey, this is so much BS. Read the articles. Tell me this is BS. Go back and read the NASA document, 2025. This is now. It's not coming in 2025. It's happening now. They announced 2 years ago that they were putting an AI on ISIS. We've never, well, the space station up there, ESA, Jesus, whatever they're calling it, it's up there. We got no pictures of what this thing looks like. How they called it AI. Now, is it data kind of AI, or is it like those little cute vacuums that, we have all the kitty pictures and the kitty with... Is it an accident that we saw a kitty in a purple dinosaur outfit riding on top of the AI? Is that predictive programming, or again, Tracey just sees things? This is one more agricultural, earthy abomination of these evil scientists that they have created. And Morgellons now infects bugs. It eats the bugs from inside, replicates the DNA, sends a signal after death to a new fruited form. It's made. The bug's eyes glow with this light. Then the signal is sent to the hive, and the bug is a new instant drone waiting directions from the swarm. Or it is a key builder of the new bug swarm programmed to infect bugs for silent, secret, soft kill attack operation. That's what these parasites are. Off the coast, the infected bug can put out a fungus that attracts other bugs to be infected. This is called assimilation, for military use for NASA, the DOC, the NSA, the DARPA, MI6, SAS, CSIS, Echelon, Tempest, etc., 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 to control attack and spy or infect more civilians, or whoever they deem a threat to the satanic occult. Who is to say they are not planning on doing this to you as we speak? This is the nature of what they thought untraceable, this soft skilling. Think again, you Nazi scum. There's a picture drawn by an infected remote viewer who is really good at what he does. This is of the creature that are trying to control him, that he believed was the controller, the Morgellons, the black goo, however you want to spell it. I'd keep the GU myself. Keep this in mind. This looks like a parasite, a nano spider. There are nano spiders. They're creepy, 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 creepy. And I've shown you these. It looks like a spider. It also looks like that very strange bug. What am I thinking of? The very odd looking, it's a virus. We've got a picture. It looks like a nano spider. Can't explain it. It's on the page somewhere. I'll find it. Make sure that I repost it so you can see. But it is a spider with developed. It's got a face and a third eye. It's the creepiest thing I've ever seen. These creatures are not visible to your eye. the human eye or most microscopes, and they came from the lower intestines growing into an intestine sophomoric mushroom, basically. They have spider-like sexual organs, meaning they leave eggs or sacs to be hatched at a later date, and are male and female. This evil, these abominations, do not go into a fungal state after mating, or fugal state. It is more of a spider than a state, I guess. It's another highly converted trans-Julian evil child sex magic demon thing that they worship, that no one else can see or even know of exists. But when you get to the top of the Masonic cult, this is what you find, and who controls it, or so they thought, or were led to believe anyway. These things have been extracted from infected people. During the extraction from the lower intestine, that's why people are having so much problem with digestion right now. The victim has a feeling of tremendous energy rushing from your frontal lobe. You feel it. This led me to believe that these things are basically feeding off your body energy consistently to grow and to feed off its offspring within us. As the victims, this energy is returned to the parasitic spider kill-off. The NSA, NASA, DARPA, MI6, SAS, all know this and covet it like a dog to a bone. This is the lower interdimensional, transdimensional being abused, feeding off humans to reproduce its own species. They assimilate enough biophotons from the frontal lobe, then try to use this energy to perhaps ascend to another dimension, to start trans-interdimensional communication. This is allowed and maintained by the psychopathic Nazi scientists, who are all the scientists. I told you about the Prussian system. We've got that. We had that before the Second World War. We are all up in that. Governments of this world and its secret space programs who project and protect these occultists. This is because how you get a target, what is not known, but is now known in the public domain. So happy hunting, you hybrid Sith killers. And I have a picture. Although I have a chemical one. Now, the picture that I put up is kind of a vampire, spider, Sith Lord hybrid, cutesy thing. But I have a picture of the actual bot. I gotta find it now. And I know it was a virus. Now it's gonna drive me nuts. I'm pretty sure, what was the name of the virus that went to the United States that a doctor had in the United States? But it looks like that. I don't know, there's been so many fevers and strange insects and strange things. Ebola, thank you, Barb. Thank you very much. Barb nails it. High five. The Ebola virus, I have a picture of it, looks like a spider with a face. Tell me that's not weird. Tell me that's not weird. Now, the list of scientists who hold the patent for Morgellons, the crystallized quantum colors, the quantum light, the quantum liquid, the patented black hybrid goo. Because goo is getting deep now. There are a list of publications that have been made public or are about to be made public because they've just sold their evil science to the military and to the shadow organizations. This is all mainly for transhumanistic research, for the occult too, to make satanic clones, hybrids, to eventually kill off God's greatest gift, creation, you, humans. There's a list of transhumanistic researchers, scientists, who also make what they call quantum liquid with the trans and the chemtrail materials. You can find the publications and see how sick they are. How this transhumanist flaunts this degenerate evil, diabolical eugenics science, if you will. In the scientific community, and we have talked about it so much, the photonic crystals, that sole purpose is to create hexagonal plasma, tonic crystals, to collect your DNA, turn it into readable light, which we basically are. We become a source signal to be read by antenna, so cell, TV, phone antenna for the black goo to connect, to read out stations, satellites. This is how you get a read, write, unite, to control the emotions of the victim. This thing is controlled by microwaves set in your home and cell phones and computers, etc. So here is a list of satanic transhumanist scientists and their publications. It's on my page. Spectral and directional reshaping of fluorescence in large areas, self-assembled plasmoid photonic crystals. That's one. Self-assembled nanoscale DNA polymorphic complex for artificial light harvesting. Journal of American Chemical Society. The first one was from Nano Letters. Second one, aquatic self-assembly of electroluminescent double hexagonal metal polymorphites. American Chemical Society. Incorporation of nanoparticles into polymersmos. I'm not sure what that is. Polymersums. I don't know what it is, but it sounds awful. Size and concentration effects. This is from ACS Nanos. Next, spectral fluorimetry with automole sensitivity. So fluoride, it's a fluoride. In photonic crystal fibers, the methods and applications in fluorescence. So this is a brave female Berkeley scientist who grew these in her hair and then ran tests under the microscope in her lab. These are the results on the self-replicating Morgellons, nanoparticles, the infection that are in the chemtrails that exist. And I've shown you pictures of the polycrystalline structures, the nanowires, the black transmutable goo. It's also a blend. It's a nanowire blend. And some of them are purple. And those ones are carbon nanotubes. Radioactive sodium iodide. the analysis of these biofactors. In high resolution, these crystalline things are not dead and they are not alive. And you can read more. Now this is what DARPA scientists use on the mind control victims. Their assets: assassination for mind control tagging, soft kill targeting, like the young man who was just triggered, who spent his entire life in military schools, well brought up, well trained, just triggered. And a week before, we'll talk about it. Suddenly he had a Facebook page that was spouting crazy pants stuff. But anyway, this is what some of it looks like from a Nazi occultist computer or a cell phone that exists. Nano implants. And there's actually a number from DARPA. It's called PXG7. Thought, reaction, hearing, visual. Activity. You can activate, you look at your little cell phone, and you can activate paranoia, fear, pain, confusion, nausea, memory, panic, sleep, attack, lethargy, sexuality, suicide. Now, after they have altered your magnetic field, which we've talked about, by lowering your vibration with the installation of this goo into your system, and we all have it. Don't think you don't. A link is established with what they have called a transmitter. This is the programmed black goo part. Directly invades your third eye. Attacks the back of your brainstem and up to your third eye gland and your brain lobes. I told you about a year ago, maybe a little more, how I started getting my movement back. It's specifically with that, and I have a feeling that it helps with all of this other stuff. Here's what you do, and you can look into it too, of course. There's wonderful work on cold therapy. If you take a bowl, fill it with water, put that bowl in the freezer, not until it freezes, just before it freezes, but gets really, really cold. You put that on your counter. Get yourself a towel because you're going to make a mess. Stick your head in it so that your face gets cold, but I want you to think of that area. You can even draw a dot there so you can actually see it. That's why the Indians did it from India, not our Indians from here. Now, breathe in really deeply and feel the energy come up from the bottom of your toes, base of your feet, all the way up to your third eye. When your head's in the water, think of that area in your head. Your face is cold. You can probably only last a couple seconds the first time. It doesn't matter. Just increase it. Take your head out. Breathe out as slowly as you can. Feel the energy releasing from that area. That changes how you think. Clears out your pineal gland in the back of your head too. 100% this works. Also, if you have any weight to lose, this does it. If you have an autoimmune disease, this will help. If you have nerve damage, this helps. Don't rush yourself into it, but just try it. If it doesn't work, say, well, Tracey doesn't know what she's talking about. If it does work, like it has for me, it'll change your life. Anyway, moving on. A signal, then, can be altered. It alters a magnetic field signature, yours. That's being back to what they call the chronovision, the looking glass that we've talked about before, the looking window that we've talked about before. This cold disrupts it. We're talking about something very, very primal here. This is why I'm saying you need to find some algae. And I realize that the oceans are toxic, but it has more chance than you do Any fish that's alive now is frickin' powerful. Believe that. And it's why they're trying to kill off the algae. Anyway, it's been called many things, this looking glass, but look up chronovision. This signal is bounced to what was the remote viewing program that turned into the Stargate programs, the most highly encrypted satellite linked up to Echelon, and Tempest, which is circling the planet. This is why they sent out those beast satellites earlier this year. Now, the New World Order super spy computer networks as well. Then it is beamed to NASA. Then it is beamed to the CIA, whose base is under CERN. I don't think we're going to get to that. I'm going to try. And then back to other low-level intel. After being filtered, cataloged, mapped, they use what they call a command station as a command center for each asset or person they target. And that is of what is linked up in this evil system, this network. The command center is placed. It's a place where the Freemasons and the cult and the Rothschilds and the Windsors and the Khazarians use the digital silent sound to cast demons into everyone's subconscious. This is why people are going so crazy. This is why people are so perverted. Not just with the sex thing, but with everything. This has been done for people for a very long time. Music, film, TV, cell phones, computers, any other way that these witches can curse you. And they are witches. Now, pictures I have up are from a film that has to legally change the name of the film because they stole it from the ravers. Tomorrowland. This is what they called the monitor in the film. It's just another twist on the privacy invasion and time-altering device for the NASA and the military. It is legally called Project Looking Window or Looking Glass that is maintained by Project Bluebeam. These projects were based off of a remote viewing program, psychological warfare that is now Stargate program. The many remote viewing subjects were infected with this black goo. It's why you see it in so many movies and stuff. And the brain and the body mapped in these programs, that is the base of the projects and the functions and the programming, and this is why our sun gazer had such a good question. Oh yes, I think something was weird about that shooter. Quiet boy. He had Asperger's. Those people, they don't become serial killers. They have a hard time dealing with other people. They don't do this. Person with Asperger's, even highly functional, they don't kill. These are not killers. Absolutely can't. So something happened. Something happened to this young man, who I think is 23. As a matter of fact, we'll look into that again. I've got my notes for that just waiting. It's going to take me a couple days to go through everything because it's mind-blowing. But anyway, this led to the advanced individual personal watching, targeting, stalking, assimilation, assassination, timeline altering, destroying by the ones who controlled this evil technology. Never forget Walt Disney was a 33rd degree Mason, pedophile, and all of the Disney programming is satanic. Always has been, always will be. It's why their stars go frickin' off. This evil, satanic, sadist, universal abomination, and universe collapse. This machine has been destroyed. Hopefully will never be again. Now I'm going to have a picture from Tomorrowland as they travel back to the past using what they coin the monitor. It is known in the military as Project Looking Glass, or Looking Window, or Chronovision in the Stargate program, etc. This device is used to look at themselves in the past, in the pictures, as they punch hole through the fabrics of time and the universe at a push of a button through CERN. This is also used to spy and steal ideas right from your head, to watch people have sex, and the list goes on. That's why the little dollies are being remote controlled, and the little dollies that moms are now putting in the rooms to watch the kids. And they found that these can be hijacked. And remember the new surveillance dolly system? It's through these. They've already and always been able to steal your monitor. The little monitors that didn't have, you couldn't see. Well, they've always done that. But this is used to spy and steal and watch your kids. All these pedophiles, all these Freemasons, all these seeing eye of the devil, the occult worship in all they do. Now the truth is in the public domain, occult, and not like you wanted it to be. This film is all about Nazis and the secret Nazi world of Tomorrowland. That will never be. These are key attacks on the brain by the black goo. Synthetic telepathy, deep brain stimulation, mind over matter, memory chips, herding neurons. That is absolutely true, and they've already done it. Disturbing events in the mind, programmed, looked at, replayed, over and over and over again. The NSA, the RFID, satanic magnetic field altering, tracking, soft kill systems. National Security Agency Signal Intelligence Program. Human targeted for NSA's computer brain technology. NSA can read your thoughts and influence them through EBL, microwave downloadable link, and NSA satellite. Microwave uploadable links goes to the NSA headquarters at Fort Meade, Maryland. Always from there. NSA cryptologists use the electricity of the human body as its own tracking device. NSA spies on Americans and probably everyone by the way of its array of satellites. NSA uses signals intelligence to spy on everyone, everywhere, using the electricity of the human body as a tracking device. NSA also uses electric brain link, that's the EBL, to read the evoked potentials in the brains of its targets. This system can influence a target's thought patterns. The NSA has repeatedly abused this technology. Repeatedly. And the former NSA employee named John St. Clair Acquay, remember we talked about him because he blew the whistle on it many years ago. and it came only to the attention of some people recently, but all people need to learn about this. Everyone. Everywhere. Now I'm going to put the link up in the room. If I can. Apparently I can't, but you can find it. It's everywhere. Look up AKWEI versus NSA, and I think somewhere on in my turtleislandnews.info we've talked about this before, so I would have a link to it somewhere, and you can find it online. Just use your search engine, it's there. Now these Nazis use TV as a psychological weapon and still do. First used on the Nazi troops to administer massive mind control to regimes of troops at one time. Whole regiments were programmed like this. This was after the Prussian indoctrination system after World War I was tested on them first, then went everywhere after World War II. Now the CIA does not allow its assets to ever watch TV, ever watch film. And you can look this up. They're not allowed. Why? Within 4 seconds of turning on the television, looking at the TV, your mind and subconscious is put into a submissive, programmable state. Everyone, everywhere, no matter how smart you think you are. TV is administrating mass mind control, low alpha waves, signals that interfere with the asset's personal mind control. This is known to the CIA. The facts that the occult and the shadow government covet to this day, they know this. And this is repetitive brain sequence. The voice to skull, or they call it the voice of God interface. Mental rape, mental theft, programmed operation. It is a control loop. It is a feedback differential. We could use really big words, but they can grab you and do what they want. You're not smart enough. If you're watching TV, stop. If you care about your brains and your body, stop. Now I told you about the head control center and its operation it serves. Okay, now I'm going to talk about synthetic nanogoo, anchors that are at the root of this satanic structural programming. The anchors are the sole key to defeating this. The cold, 100%, do it. Now, what it does is this programmable, this hybrid, this black goo, this black matter, it attaches your pressure points in your body, in your hands, in your feet, to every vital organ, every joint. They have a key pressure points in them. Can be used to heal, can be used to kill. And you're already infected with this. So, start working. Seriously, start working on yourself. The black goo anchors itself in these places to maintain a hold on the subject or the prey. It creates a network around your nerves and the brain synapses and attacks the brain and the body and starts transmitting to the hive mind, the silent sound, or what you think is your subconscious. It is the V2K. And the base of operations of this satanic, sadistic programming, the hive mind network are for the Sith. have been set up in most neighborhoods, have taken on smart meter systems all over the world. This is radiation. This is microwave, biological, synthetic telepathy. This warfare system used and maintained for the vampire occultist, who literally live off your life force, steal your creativity or whatever else you think and feel. They are keeping you dumb with this goo, with this music, with this TV, with these drugs, anything that you use to pacify your nerves. Especially now that everyone I know who is biohacking is using this drug, this limitless drug, which is a real thing, to help focus their brains. It's been co-opted. Guys, if you're using it, stop. And all the neurotropics, stop. And for the people who are using, because it's completely legal, these are illegal. The fact that these are powerful and legal should be a freaking alarm bell. Stick your head in the cold a couple times a day. I'm telling you, it's going to help. So, they claim they are healing you. That's why they want you all to smoke pot. They're killing you slowly. And this system was first used on mind control assassinations to control, record, and catalog all the missions, all the operations in what they called the Taj Mahal Arena. Look that up. Taj Mahal Arena. So I have a picture of the real Taj Mahal, not the VR, holographic, visual cortex infiltration system based on Bluebeam and the micro Bluebeam assassination arena technology. Assassin arena technology. You can kind of get some idea of what these sick-minded pedophiles, the program to go into in this place of VR and V2K, with no rules and no one gatekeeper, who is no more and shall never be. The Taj Mahal was a compiled multiple brain, it was an algorithm, compressed backup, network of assassins, missions and kills and training and operatives and top kills and top mission and top assassination techniques and kills, etc. This is all cataloged. It's all stored into a supercomputer network. This was made to house what is called the Weapon X and what they called characters. A Taj Mahal, characters. It was chopped up. It was spliced up, portion of this. And what person's mental thoughts and actions, etc., cataloged, algorithms, combined to make what they want when they want it. CIA, Nazi, called super soldiers, Superman, X-Men, women, super assassins. They can make any of us this now. Flick of a button. Today they are using this to create remote control assassins, super soldiers secretly through television, through cell phones, through computers, and I am going to show you exactly how they did it to this boy. Exactly. And how someone knew. As a matter of fact, the program that said it was time to watch for him probably triggered this young man, who had never even apparently said a bad word. Well, I'm sure he said a bad word, but this is not a boy, a troubled boy. No. This is also why the CIA agents and most feds have been cataloged and have all given blood to what is known as the CIA bank. This is a special CIA-only bank. The DNA, the RNA cloning bank. Every asset is cataloged before every operation in case they get killed. It's one of the reasons why they like to recruit from the Mormons. The Mormons who just did a very huge changeover. Something about that, I think, Sundays. Anyway, go to my page on the left-hand side. You can scroll and find that article. It's a big deal because when the Mormons change something, the CIA has changed and the FBI has changed because they are programmed up and ready to go. Anyway, it's done in case they get killed, but they've made a big change again. I don't know why. They can be cloned, and now one was ever to know the facts of what goes on here and why these so-called assets never really die, or so they thought. This is TV as a weapon, and what it really is. CBS, NBC, CNN, ABC, BBC, 60 Minutes, Fox. It's all about programming. It is the news. And we used to think watching the news was, you're doing something good. You're finding out what's going on. The news stands for North, East, West, South. It is absolutely about CERN. We're going to get into that maybe next week. We'll have time. Anyway, this is a form of digitized mental rape, secretly installed into the television system shortly after the Nazi war. Was thought to be over anyway, but was secretly brought to the United States and all over the world. The CIA, this pedophile Nazi criminals that went to the United States under Operation Paperclip, given new names and jobs, especially in Texas. That's why Texas is having a problem right now. But given jobs in Texas at NASA, at bases in San Antonio. The satanic pedophilic occultists are allowed to continue to run secret human experiments whenever they want, with microwave weapons whenever they want, and what they call silent sound on the general public. This today is called V2K, so voice-to-skull communication. That was patented 1974 by the U.S. military, used in Vietnam, but was in use since 1954, Roswell, and probably a little older, probably had to do with the Phoenix Project and the Philadelphia experiment, which is why Philadelphia is playing so often in the events right now. It's to remind you, to trigger you, to remember what the Philadelphia experiment was. This is the real hybrid program. The clones, the goo, the synthetic telepathy, the takeover of this world, especially America and the world's military. This network was secretly fed to the military from all the Nazi scientists, all the war criminals that were divided up. They were separated and fed on it was like a buffet. The world government took them in like a buffet, these scientists, these guys, but they never worked for the country that was taken. They spread out and became the fingers of the new organization. This is what the CIA used to be, and what it used before this article came out. The Shadow Network. It's called the Ghost Network, or the Dead Zone. That's why the Dead Zone became a movie. It's the Dead Zone communication, which is used to talk to the end, to the demons, to conjure, to recall evil spirits. Jeez, that was fast. Okay, listen to me if you get a chance, and I'd love to hear from you guys. Tell me what you think. And Sun Gazer, don't worry, I I am all over this thing. It will be dealt with. We'll finish this, and then we'll move on to the shooter. Thursday, 12 to 2. See you guys soon. Bye for now.